I was faced with a choice which I never should have had.
She was crying like I had never heard a woman cry before in my life.
And I just cried for weeks and weeks. Everything reminded me of a baby.
And I kept trying to get up from the table and look to see what was in that jar.
I was dealing with the loss of my unborn child and I didn't even know it.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Whisper, be silent no more.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and today again I am with my co-host, Alan Parker, President of the Justice Foundation, and Clayton Trotter, General Counsel of the Justice Foundation. I know, Alan, we have a very powerful show today.
We really do. Today, Carla and Laura are going to refute some of the lies about abortion, not on philosophy or opinion, but based on their actual experience with abortion here in America.
That's right, Alan. I know that the story that Carla has to tell today is one that everybody needs to hear. We want to encourage you now to listen to Carla's story in her own words.
Hi, I'm Carla from Wisconsin. I was 24 when I found out I was pregnant, and I didn't know what to do. My family wasn't talking to me. I had a roommate that I barely knew who said, "I'll drive you. I've driven lots of my friends to get theirs." And I had just met a man that I really wanted to marry, and I didn't know what to do. I was alone and afraid. I was terrified. I wanted to teach. I wanted to get on with my career, and I wanted to be done with this problem and get this solved as quickly as possible. My mother had taken my sister for an abortion years before, and I looked at that as my answer. Not that I really wanted that, I just wanted a way out. I was in mental anguish, and on the outside I looked like I was in total control, but inside I was terribly frightened and alone. And my roommate did drive me to the abortion clinic, and it was a horrifying place. I remember just so many people, boyfriends and girlfriends and mothers with daughters, and no one looked at anyone else and no one talked to anyone else. I watched a video, I think it was a cartoon of a bunch of cells, and I was told that you could just get this done and there would be no problem and you could get on with your life. And the counselor said, "Will that be Visa or MasterCard?" I remember they told me I was 8 weeks along and I never had an ultrasound. I think they just guessed because later on I found out that I was closer to 11. The nurse talked during the procedure and didn't tell me that it would be so painful, and it was incredibly painful. The doctor came in and had just an angry look on his face, and he was cruel and he was harsh. And I often think those that support abortion, they say it's between a woman and her doctor, and are they talking about him? Afterward, I felt a great sense of relief, and I sat in a recliner with a hot blanket over me and peanut butter and jelly toast, and I was relieved. And I looked around at all the girls in their recliners and thought I would smile with relief at one of them, and they were all crying. They were all sobbing. And I assumed that I was just more mature than they were. And then I went home to get on with my life, which actually looked like I worked 8 to 3:30 as a substitute teacher and 4 to 10 at a group home. And I either ate too much or ate too little, and I drank and I was promiscuous, and I thought of suicide. And I felt a great shame and a deep, dark feeling came over my life. And I kept running from the truth of what I had done. I did marry that man that I met, and we expected our first child, and we were thrilled, and we told everyone. And I was about 11 weeks when they told me that my baby had died and that I would pass a plum-sized clot. What ended up happening is I fainted in Walmart waiting for my prescription of codeine, and I went into labor, and I delivered that baby into my hand. And I held that baby, and I saw the the hands and feet and arms and fingers and precious face and a tiny little rump, and it was not a bunch of cells. It was my child, and I could not deny the humanity of this unborn child, and it hit me that I had taken the life of one such as this. And it took a couple years to come to grips and fall at the feet of Jesus and ask for forgiveness for what I had done. And I had gone through Forgiven and Set Free, and I named my daughter Aubrey, and I had a miscarriage, and I named that baby Jamie, and I had another miscarriage, and named that baby Lee, and all those babies wait for me in heaven, and I will be healed that day. I continue to heal through Rachel's Vineyard and Operation Outcry, but I will be healed in heaven. And to someone who is pregnant and finds themselves in a crisis pregnancy, I would urge you to find resources and people that love you and support you and give you other options than abortion. You can have a baby and you can raise it, or you can put it up for adoption. Abortion is not the answer. Abortion hurts women. And to someone that's had an abortion and is struggling and is all alone and feels so much shame, I would say, please reach out, because I'm here for you and you're not alone. Thank you.
You've just heard Carla's story in her own words. Possibly you have just come out of an abortion facility and you are suffering already from the pain of abortion. We want you to call the National Helpline for Abortion Recovery at 1-866-482-LIFE. There is a woman on the other end of the line that has also gone through abortion, and she will listen to you, listen to your story, and offer words of healing and hope, which are the first steps to healing. I know, Alan, in just hearing Carla's story, it was amazing to me that she was just shown a film on clumps of cells. She was not fully informed. As we're told, women are at abortion facilities.
That's right. That's one of the first lies, that it should be a woman's choice between her and her doctor. But this doctor was cruel to her. She didn't even talk to the doctor, and most women don't. They talk to someone in the doctor's office whose job is to sell abortions. They don't get independent medical advice. And
well, and Alan, the thing that really, one of the things that really got to me, said the counselor said, "Will that be Visa or MasterCard?" Now that's really counseling somebody. You know,
right.
which way are you going to pay for this?
That's right. And many mothers buy these lies and think they're helping their daughters, and that it'll only be a few minutes and then it'll be over with. She mentioned her mother had taken her sister to get an abortion, and now this girl, Carla's, following in her sister's footsteps. And instead of it being over, it's a lifetime of pain and suffering, remembering the death of this child. And later she learned the truth. Right. And yet she also saw what is a truth, that many women in the abortion rooms, recovery rooms, are crying at the time. If it was a simple medical procedure, why would people be crying? There is something in the human heart that knows this is wrong.
If you actually take a piece of tissue off a body,
removing
take
a wart or
yeah.
a blister or tonsils, even something significant, you don't cry afterwards that your tonsils have been removed.
It's in that woman's soul that she knows in the innermost parts of her being that life has been ripped out of her. And that's why with Carla and her offer